Okay, Brendan. I watched the movie. S- Stepfather 2. You told me I could look it up. It's free on the internet, so I
Yeah.
did, and I found it. I mean, are you sure this is the movie that you want to review
Yeah,
for
man.
this?
Schlocktober Sequel Month. Galen told me this was one to check out. I'm ready. Let's do it.
He would. Okay. You're totally positive.
Stepfather 2. Yeah, let's do this.
Let's get into it. So, I mean, of course, we open up with this girl. She's fresh home from college, and her mom has remarried. And she's out working, and the mother meets the girl, I guess the college girl meets her new stepfather, and uh, she wants to like borrow the car, and he doesn't want to lend it to her.
Uh, just gonna cut in real quick here.
Yeah.
You may have watched. I think what happened is, and this has happened a few times on this show. You may have watched a version that had deleted scenes reinserted back into the movie, because our opening of the movie was just completely different.
That wouldn't surprise me if
Okay.
these scenes
Okay.
were deleted, because I mean they would have definitely gotten an NC-17 rating if these had been left in.
I mean, was the language particularly salty?
No, but there was a lot of frontal nudity and penetration. And when she wanted to borrow the car and he wouldn't lend it to her, she said, "Well, I'll do you some favors," and then she started making advances towards him, and he was like, "We can't. Your mother will find out," and then she, like, I guess, seductively looked at him and said, "Well, we're not related. Dot 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 by blood."
Okay, hold on, Nathan. The movie that you supposedly watched, was there a lot
Right.
of like awkward camera angles?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of, and I mean the dialogue and everything seemed kind of stilted too. I mean, when they were in the middle of actually doing the do, they did utter the really shoehorned in if you'll pardon that pun, the tagline when the stepfather rather gruntily said, "Make room for daddy."
Oh dear. Oh, it's happened again. Galen, I apologize. This happened again. Nathan watched the wrong film.
Oh, no, this is the right movie. Yeah, worth a watch.
When I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Welcome, everybody. Shocktober sequel continues. Let me do that again. Welcome, everybody. Schlocktober Sequel Month continues here on What Were They Thinking? It's the spookiest time of year, of course. I'm Brendan, your first of two hosts. And joining me is the Maddie to my Carol.
Okay. Yeah.
See, it's the first time I've nailed it. You gotta give me.
You got it. Good on you. And thank you for making me the sassy mail lady who's
Oh, you're welcome.
Smarter than everybody else in this movie.
And would straight up go to jail.
I mean,
what she's
she's
doing
a
with the mail.
flawed hero, okay?
Oh, and this week we are talking about another sequel, another blank 2. As we talked about The Rage Carry 2, we talked about Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Wait, have we?
Yeah, I don't know, have we? Okay.
Have. And now we're talking about Stepfather 2,
Parental Boogaloo.
Oh, I was colon, Make Room for Daddy.
Okay.
He's not saying that to a colon. He's just saying that
in the movie I watched, he was
some odd.
You watch that straight to the end. No pun intended.
Yes.
Well, you heard that voice, and that can only mean one thing. We have our guest. We have a guest with us here to help us discuss Stepfather 2. So make room for Daddy, because here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Galen Howard.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me to discuss my favorite film of all time, Stepfather 2.
The one that Nathan watched.
Yes, that one. That one. Yeah.
And then he just starts coming everywhere. And I was like,
Oh,
where's
boy.
all that cum coming from?
Yeah. I give a 5-star to the movie. I don't know if I give 2 stars to all the pop-ups though.
See, that's why you gotta pay for a decent pop-up blocker. That'll take care of that.
Yeah. Serves me right.
You gotta turn on that old VPN. Which brings us to our sponsor, ExpressVPN.
Yeah. That movie will give you a VPN, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Well, Galen, this is another one that you've bestowed upon us. So I guess
I did.
I'll ask about your tragic history with this film.
It goes back. Let me think. I stroke my chin. I was a big fan of the original, which is the Stepfather, Joseph Rubin, 1987. Great, just a pot boiler. Guilty pleasure, but yeah, very well done, well plotted film, and as when I revisit every now and then, and on my last revisit, I realized, I haven't gotten into the sequels, so and boy, oh boy, I mean it's like watching this. It's just like the producers were just like, you know what, we'll just do the same thing as the original, but this time, just take out all logic, reasoning, character development, that's just getting in the way. And boy, oh boy, glad they did, because this movie is a lot of fun. And I remember I did message you and just right after watching it and basically said, I don't care what you have planned for Schlocktober, but this one's going in. Make room for Daddy.
Make room for Stepfather 2.
Exactly. Yes. This one is just, when you think it can't get crazier, it just it just gets even more crazy, and it just piles on that crazy on your plate at the crazy buffet, and it's a wild ride.
And Nathan, had you any experience with this franchise?
Yes, actually, I actually saw the original one a few years back, because I don't know what we were talking about on the show at the time, but I started to think about some of the movies that were always at the video store that I never rented as a kid.
Yep.
And my parents, like, they would have rented me, whacked out stuff, because, I mean, like, as I've said before, Nightmare on Elm Street, I saw it when I was 7, and they let me watch every single one as they came out on video. So I would have gotten to see this if I had just taken, maybe the time, but I just always slept on it. And then I was, I don't know, jumping around on the internet trying to find some free movies to watch, because it was before Tubi was a thing. So
back in the day, I remember it well.
And so I found the first one completely on YouTube. Just
compelling.
Like this
Tell me more.
And I was like, okay, I ought to give this a shot, man. I started watching it, and Terry O'Quinn's there, and he's like super young, looking like Will Forte, and I watched it all. I was like, man, that was actually a really good, because that was really, really good. And then I watched the remake and questioned why I did that.
As did the people who made it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't. This is my first dalliance into the sequels. I didn't take the time to watch the sequels. I watched that first one, and then I read that the second one wasn't as good. And then by the time they got around to like part 3, Terry O'Quinn wasn't even involved. And I'm like,
exactly,
nope, hard pass.
What's really great about the third one is that they set it up by just set it up that the same character has gotten plastic surgery.
Yeah.
But then the guy who plays him sounds like Mr. Ed. and it's amazing.
Wait, so did they put like peanut butter in his mouth? to make him talk?
It's not, yeah, he's also like, well, yeah. I mean, he has like kind of rubbery lips. And it's just like, well, you know, it's amazing.
Make room for daddy.
So let's just dive into the plot here.
Oh yes, please.
So basically, we have the stepfather from the first movie. He survived that first movie somehow. He
Right.
is in a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah,
He
they give
has
us a nice little
Previously on the
previously on the Stepfather. Yeah,
Yes, there's a recap.
a little
He-
recap. Yeah,
During a Mr. Rogers neighborhood opening, but go ahead, Brendan. Sorry,
I'm-
we
we're
don't
gonna
want to get
get
into
the-
the details.
Yeah, let's not get into the details yet. I'm just gonna give the basics. So he's at the psychiatric hospital. He has a shrink. He manages to escape through a series of hilarious events, which we'll get into later. As he escapes, he's looking for a new family to enter into. He finds Carol, played by Meg Foster, not Meg Tilly.
Right.
And he moves in on her and her son, Jonathan Brandis, from everyone's favorite movie, Ladybugs.
Yes.
And yeah, and then he slowly just kind of worms his way into that family. He bonds with the kid. He gets Carol to fall in love with him. One of the neighbors is a little bit suspicious of him, but ultimately, I think you could say that hilarity ensues.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, there's some yucks in this one. There's some real yucks.
Intentional and unintentional.
You know, it's all good. It's all good.
Way
in my
more
book.
unintentional ones.
I was gonna say,
Hey,
a lot more of-
that works for me. It works for me here.
Yeah. So we start off. We just hear a lot of like 1950s sitcom type patter between a family that we don't see for like the whole time. Like the screen's black.
Mhm.
And you're like, well, we got the pot roasted apple pie for dinner tonight. Oh, I've had a hard day at work. Oh, looking at my daughter's report card. The son wants to go fishing. Like all that kind of stuff, right? And then of course we get, like you said, previously on The Stepfather, which would have been great if they just committed and did that whole thing.
Right.
Just
If they had Don LaFontaine come in and just
I was gonna say like Ted Knight. If was Ted Knight still alive at that point, that'd have been great.
I
yeah.
think so.
He used to the
That would be
voiceover
a good
for
call,
Super
yeah.
Friends. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, previously on The Stepfather.
Yeah, and it's basically just footage from the end of the movie reminding us that, hey, remember that movie that was pretty good? Well, now you got to watch Stepfather 2, Make Room for Daddy.
Yeah, you're gonna watch basically the same. Here's the previous movie. Now you get to watch the same movie, but none of it makes any sense.
Right. But we do see our favorite Step Pops, and he's balding. He's starting to go
Yep.
bald. He
Yep.
wakes up in a sweat because he also just recapped the end of the first movie, and he's now realizing, oh no, I'm gonna be in the sequel too.
So yeah, it was it was all a dream. But then
That
this-
would have been. Can you imagine if this movie started by saying the first movie was all a dream?
And he woke up
Lord.
in the psych ward, like, I got an idea.
I got an idea for a picture, Doc.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're allowed. You could just pitch movies in this.
Yeah.
What are you
And
talking
then,
about? Michael Bay's been doing it all week.
That's true.
Yeah, and then and then he's like, but I did shoot JR.
And Mr. Burns.
Yes.
So he wakes up in a sweat. He's obviously in a psychiatric ward, having miraculously survived being stabbed in the chest and thrown down the stairs in the first movie, which I love that they show as well, which just makes it even more difficult to believe that he survived that. Like they show him being like pretty much murdered.
Yeah.
And the scar he has on his chest is not is very small for the damage being done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a little nick, pretty much.
Yeah, it's the needle and the damage done, as Neil Young liked to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just like, wow.
Interesting tidbit. He was actually talking about this movie
Oh, wow.
in that song.
Neil Young originally cast as the stepfather.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah.
You know what he said about that? It's a piece
Yeah.
of crap.
18 years earlier, he saw it all. Saw it all. Yeah. He predicted the first movie and its sequel. I mean, that's impressive.
It's sage Canadian.
Yes, no longer available on Spotify.
Good for him.
Yep.
Sticking by his guns.
Absolutely. This movie sticks by its guns, though.
Oh, well, here we go. So there's a guard that approaches our old stepfather friend and says, "Oh, time to go see a new shrink, bad daddy," is the actual line that's said here.
Wow. Yeah. I can't believe I didn't.
That was the name
I
of
didn't write that
that-
down. Yeah.
That was the name of a movie that was in the related movies of the other one that I watched.
Bad
Oh.
Daddy.
Bad Daddy.
Bad Daddy. Yeah. Batter Daddy.
That's
yeah.
what happened when I tried to get Nathan to watch Bad Santa. He ended up coming back and telling me a totally different movie, but weirdly enough, Billy Bob Thornton also in it.
Also
Still
in
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the kid.
Jesus. God damn it, Galen.
Yeah, Nathan purchased it in a back alley somewhere.
Get me on a list or something.
Oh boy, Nathan. I don't know, man. Worried about you.
So the shrink is Jerry, because was his fake name from the last movie.
Not Jared from Subway.
Not Jared from Subway.
Jesus, Galen, what is up with you today?
Oh man. So Jerry, which was the stepfather's name that he used in the last movie, he's talking to his shrink. The shrink is going over his like past crimes, which of course includes trying to murder an entire family.
Yes. Yeah.
Aside from
actually-
the other families that he's already murdered.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and also successfully murdering an entire family at the beginning of that movie.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. No, this guy has a track record for sure.
And he's basically like, the shrink at some point is like, you know what? I want there to be like a trust between us. And I'm like, that's a weird offer.
Yeah.
So-
And this shrink is like clearly never studied anything about psychopathic tendencies. Nothing.
He's a little foolhardy, that's for
He's
sure.
a little foolhardy. Yes, he thinks he's forever the optimist. Yeah, thinks that he can cure just a few familial homicides. That's nothing for this guy. We can work past that.
Do you think this is like a Republican film where they're like, look at these loopy liberal therapists just like throwing out the rules?
I find that a lot of slasher and horror movies and even some your more notorious action movies from the 80s have a very Republican bent to them, because I mean, look at the Death Wish sequels.
Oh sure.
The only way to stop the bad guy with a gun is Charles Bronson with a rocket launcher in the Bronx.
Yep.
I mean, who doesn't? I mean, anyone who doesn't enter the Bronx without their rocket launcher is just asking for trouble.
I think it's part of their city flag.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Their borough.
flag.
Yeah.
So the shrink is like, you know what? Tells the guard, take off Jerry's handcuffs. I'm not scared. I want to prove my point. He even offers Jerry a cigarette, and he goes to take it. And then he's like, wait a second, I don't smoke.
Such an odd moment. It was like, what? Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think it's playing on the genuinely great moment in the first movie where he says the wrong name by mistake, and then he says, wait, who am I here? You remember that part?
Yes.
Yes.
That's such a cool, like.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And then the mom from Seventh Heaven tells him who he is.
Yeah.
And he flips out. Like, that's such a good moment. In this,
He calmly thanks her and then flips out.
Right. But in this movie, it makes absolutely no sense.
None at all.
I also thought it made absolutely no sense that we see that they're letting him operate like a wood carving. And,
Oh boy,
like,
yeah.
table saw.
Yeah, for a guy who did a whole lot of stabby, they sure let him around a lot of spinning blades and pokey objects.
But don't worry, there's like 2 guards in the room that are not armed. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see some of that. Jerry explains, he shows this, like, he's built this model of a house. He knocks it down violently, and then, the shrink is like, oh shit, and starts pressing like the security alarm. But then Jerry says, no, the eternal optimist will keep rebuilding till he gets it right. Meaning, essentially, I guess, if you got a shitty family, you gotta kill him.
You gotta keep trying. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
he's a family annihilator. I don't understand why he is allowed to be unshackled around a civilian like this doctor.
Which the doctor seems to take a real liking to him too. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
That
I
moment
don't know.
after a sudden act of violence, and then and then a shoddy analogy, he's just like, I'm on board.
This works for me.
Just like,
Yep.
Yeah, he's just like, he acts as though this is like a huge fucking breakthrough.
Yeah.
He even writes huge progress or something like that in his notebook.
Which is a great note.
Progress from what? It's bizarre.
Which is a great note because, like, does he just look back on that and say, "Oh yeah, huge progress was made"?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not
Well, he doesn't get to.
Over what? I don't know. The house. Yeah.
But we do learn that while Jerry was taking this doing his working in the wood shop, he sharpened his little figurine because he walks over to the doctor and stabs him in the neck with it and murders him. Didn't see that coming. Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
He then
for such a small blade, I mean, it looked like a needle, and there was quite a bit of blood splatter there.
Oh yeah, which by the way, I found out that all the blood splatter in this movie was added way later because the studio or something or the producers were like, well, it's rated R, we got to have blood, and the director
Seriously?
was like, yeah, the director
Wow.
guess was like, oh no, it was the Weinsteins actually. Harvey
Seriously?
and Bob Weinstein. Yes.
Okay.
They both said we need to add blood to this thing. The director didn't really want to do it. Terry O'Quinn was like, I'm not coming back for reshoots just so you can add blood. So all the blood in the scenes are just like
just inserts.
Inserts, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, that absolutely adds up. That makes sense. Yeah, because it does all look shoehorned in.
Yeah. So he murders that guy. He presses the security button to get the guard in there. We don't see anything, but we know that he's killed the guard off camera. And then in the wildest turn of events, and I hope I'm not the only one that noticed this, we see Jerry exiting the building in the guard's clothes, and he suddenly has a mustache. He took the guard's mustache.
Well, no, you close up. You do a close up on the guard, and he still has his mustache.
How does he have a mustache?
Oh, okay,
It's the continuity error of the whole thing. Unless he.
Here's my theory.
I got it. I've got it. Because I have a note right here that says hair bookmarks.
The hair bookmark. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, he plucks off his hair and he puts it kind of makes a fine little mark. So that he was collecting the hair for the book for the mustache.
I'm really disappointed he didn't steal his mustache.
He was creating a mustache. I don't know how he had it ready to go or to apply it, but he had that mustache all ready to go. He thought this out.
Man, I would have loved it. They just like cut to the guard dead and his mouth is
no mustache
scarred and stuff.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That's a real bummer. But anyway, he has a mustache now, and he gets in the guard's uniform. He takes off. Of course, the bodies are discovered, but it's too late. Jerry's got away. Uh-oh, the stepfather is loose. Make room for daddy.
Yep.
My next note is escape with Amtrak.
That would be a great great. Yeah, just put the logo right there. Yeah.
With a picture of Terry O'Quinn as the stepfather, maybe holding like, I don't know, a severed head or something.
Well, I think that's how Joe Biden saved Amtrak just recently, right? With that slogan.
Escape with Amtrak.
I think that's how he managed to keep them together as a company.
Well, Terry O'Quinn was the spokesperson for that campaign.
Yes. Terry O'Quinn is the transportation. He took over for Pete Buttigieg.
Well, yeah. He did so. He did so well as a pilot on Lost. So.
Right. So Jerry heads to town, or he's driving around, and he quote unquote helps someone, but then obviously off screen we clearly know he's robbed this person and killed.
He slams the trunk down in the guy's hands, and supposedly he chops the guy's hands off with the trunk door.
I thought it was just the his scarf. That's what I saw in my cut.
Is that just a scarf? Okay, I thought it was the gloves. Okay.
But either way, he kills that guy.
He kills that guy. Yeah, by just breaking his hands, I guess. Okay.
And the guy was apparently flush with cash.
So yeah, he takes a whole lot of money from him. And then he goes to a hotel to watch some children's programming and have a grand old time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get room service. Cheat on it. It's his cheat day apparently.
Yeah, it's. I just love how genuinely happy he looks while he's watching like.
He's watching Thunderbirds. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like at one point it looks like he was watching like Treehouse TV or something
hmm
before Treehouse TV.
Yeah.
So at this point Jerry is like, well, I gotta find me a woman. I gotta find me a family and
An alternate identity.
an alternate identity. So he starts looking at a bunch of video dates. Remember those guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But really he just gets a bunch of duds. He's not into any of these video dates, but all of which were pretty funny. That one woman that's like, well, I want him to have a 4-carat ring, and I want him to have a lot of money, and I want him to be rich. I'm like, I get it. This person's supposed to be shallow, okay?
Specificity is the key to finding a good relationship.
Exactly.
But I think he gets sick of it, and then switches over to Dream House.
Is this a real game show?
That was a real game show.
Okay,
Wow.
because this movie is like co-sponsored by the show Dream House because it is
Yeah,
in a lot of this movie.
A couple of times it's seen, yeah.
He gets
With
the
Bob
idea-
Eubanks.
Yeah, and he gets the idea from the show to go to Palm Meadow Estates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he decides his name. Well, he goes to a house. I don't remember how he actually assumes the other person's identity.
From my understanding, he found it in an obituary.
Okay.
And then
That's right.
this is the name I'm going to use. And so if they look up any records on this person, provided they don't notice that he's dead, I'll have all of his, credentials, because apparently stealing an identity back in the 80s was way easier.
I was going to say you could not do this plot now because one Google search and they'd be like, you are not Gene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he does become this guy Gene, and who apparently so was Gene a doctor or was Jerry a doctor before?
Well, I think
Jerry was a
Jerry-
doctor, right?
Jerry was not. He
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't he in real estate or?
he was in real estate in that first movie.
Yes.
At least when he was, in the bulk of it. I don't know what he was before that.
But in Stepfather 1, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, him doing this now is just him kind of taking. He's taking this person's identity, like their name and their credentials. He had to find a doctor
Right.
that he could steal, but he's really taking inspiration from the psychiatrist at the booby hatch that he was at.
Mhm.
So I mean, because even when he's doing like a lot of the therapy sessions, he's using a lot of the stuff that the doctor said at the first of the thing, like, let a smile be your umbrella, which, by the way, is a terrible umbrella. If I could crib from The Simpsons, his smile goes up like this. All it's going to do is catch water.
It's just catch
Yeah.
catch them drops.
Is that what that movie Smile is about? That movie that's coming out?
Has to be.
Mhm.
Just about people using umbrellas incorrectly?
Probably.
Okay. I was wondering because the trailer didn't really tell me much.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, just that you're gonna die. You're gonna die from from faulty umbrellas.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes sense to me. But Gene soon meets Carol Grayland, played by Meg Foster, our favorite.
And I said she did it. She's the killer.
Well, she is. What does she play in Masters of the Universe? Evil Lynn.
Evil Lynn, yes.
And she was, of course, in They Live, which we talked about before.
So I think this is number
Classic.
3 for her.
Yeah, no,
number
she's
3 or number
she's
4?
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and she, of course, she has the most piercing eyes in Hollywood.
Yes.
Oh boy, just yeah.
Like that of a robot, like unnaturally piercing.
But at the same time, striking.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
I mean,
she's a Terminatrix.
Yeah, I mean, you
man.
can see the attraction. I mean, I think these.
Yeah.
It would be amazing if you found out at the end that both of them were robots.
Or that she's also a family annihilator.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not explaining why her son's still alive.
Well, you gotta. She follows the natural born killer school of thought. You gotta leave one around to tell the story.
All right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she's showing him this house that that Gene guy used to live in. She's a real estate agent.
Well, no, he's subletting
Oh,
from
okay.
them. There's a family that they're going to be they're moving, but they want to keep they want to lease the house with an option to buy at the end of the 2-year lease, I guess.
I thought it was
Exactly.
that Gene guy's house that he moved into.
No.
It's just some
He-
family.
He's subletting from people who own that place.
Okay.
And she's even showing him all this like foreshadowing stuff too, like, oh, it's a gas fireplace.
Yeah, and you know
No
what?
logs needed.
I just
It did-
realized it would be a very big giveaway if he was just bought the house that Gene was living in. He was like, "My name is Gene." Yes, the exact same name as the guy that died here.
Yeah. And I will say this, the gas fireplaces did not come into play the way I was hoping they were going to come into play.
You thought,
But we'll get to that.
all right. Well, he's looking around the house. It looks like he's gonna get it. We also meet Carol's son Todd, played by Jonathan Brandis. He likes to skateboard inside the house. He's a bit of a troublemaker.
The
Bit
hair
of a rebel.
flicking rebel.
He's a bit of a rebel. Yeah.
Bit of a rebel,
know?
but really that's not really played on that much. Like kind of at the beginning a little bit, and then it's just kind of forgotten about.
He's actually a pretty easygoing kid as far as
Yeah.
like possible kid of divorce here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Though
they
he
were
did,
gonna go-
though he did throw in that dick move where she said like, oh, I got you some baseball cards. There's got to be someone in there. And he goes, well, he got traded.
Yeah, he
then
was kind of a
walks
shit
off.
kid right at first, but that's really it
Yeah.
for his shit kiddery.
It's almost
Mhm.
like they were gonna go that way, and then they decided not to, but then they didn't cut any of the stuff out early.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, no, I think you leave that part in because you want to show he has some angst about his parents' relationship status.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he feels betrayed. It's not. Yeah. You're not going to find too much depth there. It's. Yeah.
I do feel, and this is no slight against Meg Foster, because I think she just naturally has like a sultry delivery. But I felt like with her sultry delivery of like all her lines, that anytime she talked to her son, I was a little bit uncomfortable.
She's always got that smoky voice, like it's
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna
I
I'm not gonna
complain
lie.
about
I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for for a budding romance between her and her friend.
I mean, I was hoping. We're dudes.
It was-
We're dudes.
I think they had
It's
a bond, and I wanted that for them.
I mean, it's not beyond the pale. It was California in the late '80s. I mean,
I wanted them to find a little, a human connection between them, and then make passionate, dirty sex.
For 25 minutes.
25,
to hell with the Bush administration.
Oh boy.
What they have to say.
So anywho's.
I think they should have done it in a protest to Ronald Reagan. That would have shown them.
Yeah. Take that, mommy. Make room for daddy.
Oh boy.
So okay. Anyway, we
Bedtime for Bonzo.
We got to it's the spiritual sequel. This is the spiritual sequel to Bedtime for Bonzo.
Bedtime for Bonzo.
So we cut to a scene. Of Gene, as we'll now know him, not Jerry anymore, leading a group session. He's been there for one day, and he's already set up this group therapy session with every woman in town. Apparently,
Every woman in town, is being counseled by this strange man in. And they're all cool with that. There's nothing suspect about a room full of vulnerable women being counseled by a man.
And this is probably my favorite scene in the entire movie.
It's pretty great.
One of the middle-aged women, she, in a roundabout sort of way, talks about how her husband likes to receive Hummers.
Yep.
Emphasis on the hum.
She just unpacks it just little bit by little bit.
Oh, it's delightful.
It's really sweet. It's cute. Bring the family. It's I'm
just gonna say it. I think it's probably the cutest blowjob story I've ever heard.
I've heard some cute blowjob stories in my day.
Her humming genital cats while she. Because that's what she says. Yeah, the humming. It specifically show tunes, humming show tunes specifically. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Stop,
Genital
please.
cats. That's good. That's good.
Yep,
Music of the Night from Phantom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
she
it.
even-
Yeah.
she even
And
with
she
the-
get
but-
yeah. And
but the
then she gives him a
half-mast-
rum tum tugger.
But the half mask in Phantom is not a mask in that situation.
No,
Just a
no,
covering.
something to be cleaned up later.
But yes,
Oh,
this
boy.
middle-aged woman does talk about giving her husband a Hummer and saying that I think he just wants me for my body, etc., etc. It's all like funny and awkward, and everyone's laughing.
And she's such a frumpy Midwestern housewife.
Yeah, right.
I think that's what really sends the funny part of that home. Is like you'd expect, someone like
Morgan Fairchild.
Well, I was gonna say no, like Maddie, the mail lady. You expect someone who like her to tell that kind of story, not some mousy member of the PTA.
Now, when Nathan says mail lady, he's not using some derogatory form of term there. She literally delivers the mail.
Yeah, she's a mail carrier.
Mail carrier. Yes. Well, we don't have to identify it by gender. They're all mail carriers.
Yeah.
Or and some of them are disease carriers.
Some, sure.
Yeah, some.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I asked if Dreamhouse bought stock in this movie because there's more footage of the game show Dreamhouse. And then we cut to Carol talking to Jean. She's like saying, talking about her husband leaving them and how hard it's been for her son. He helps her out because she spills some groceries. They order some Chinese food. He's already chatting with Todd, so there's not really a lot of barriers to break down here. He's already pretty good with their kid. Also, though, more examples in Hollywood of, and I know this is like a fake doctor, but more examples in Hollywood of doctors pursuing their patients in cinema. Like, come on. Like, what's going on here?
Right away. Yeah, this isn't all the time. Yeah.
The thing is,
especially
like,
a therapist.
What he does here, like in this section of scenes, like he runs into her at he's getting out of his car with his groceries and spilling it, and I was like, oh, he's such a bumbling Bundy. Because that's what he's doing. He's making himself seem like innocent. This would have been all done on purpose so that she helps him with the groceries, and even goes so far as like she sees all he's eating is frozen foods, and she of course invites him to dinner, which is a fairly cliched setup in this type of situation.
Right away. Yeah, and delivers that line of the secret to cooking is letting someone else do it for you.
Yeah.
Also, bang. Like, what's funny though? It's like it's supposed to be like, obviously we know the setup in this movie, but I've seen a lot of like straightforward romantic comedies or romantic dramas with the exact same scene, but it's meant to be charming.
Yeah.
So
what you do in that situation is if you replace Ryan Gosling with Danny DeVito, and if it seems like he's a lunatic, that character was always a lunatic.
Okay, well there you go.
The Danny DeVito test. I saw it on the internet.
Yeah.
Watch any rom comedy, replace Ryan Gosling or Jake Gyllenhaal or whoever's in it with Danny DeVito, and if it seems off-putting and crazy, guess what? That character is off-putting and crazy regardless of how pretty he looks.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I could see Danny DeVito playing this part.
Oh my God.
I could. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah.
So then I started blasting.
No, not your movie. Not your movie.
Yeah. Rhea Perlman in the Meg Foster role.
I think Rhea Perlman in the Jonathan Brandis role.
That would, yeah.
Her hair was too puffy.
And what's her name from Matilda and the I made myself I weirded myself out.
Okay, yeah, stop. Yeah, you're pulling a Nathan.
Listen, she's all oh no, Nathan's been branded now. Not in the way he likes.
I know I am.
He's been Jonathan branded.
Oh Lord.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, alas, yeah. Didn't want to bring that up, but yes, he is. Sadly, no longer with us.
Well, Jean bonds with Todd because Todd is throwing a ball against the side of the house, and Carol's not a big fan of that. So Jean is like, "Well, just give me a second with the kid,"
Yeah,
And-
yeah. I know we've known each other for 2 days, but let me have some time alone with your son.
Yeah, it's the
Some
80s.
unsupervised time with your son.
Listen, it's the 80s. He's gonna be fine.
Oh,
So-
right. Yeah. Oh, the 80s. Yeah, where nothing bad happened.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing
was
at all. Yeah.
10 years of fantastic.
You know,
living.
best. Yeah, great presidential leadership. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that there.
Well, for a year and a month, yes.
Yeah. There wasn't any there wasn't any like major health crisis that was that was left to
Ravage an
entire group of people. Yeah, nothing like that.
Yeah, no racism or anything like that.
No prejudice. No prejudice. Nothing.
Good
It was a
time.
great time to be alive, and it still is. It's a
It was
great time to
morning
be
in
alive right now.
America. It was.
Morning in America. Well, so during this flawless time in America's history,
Yes.
Gene, like I said, is bonding with Todd. He eventually helps him build a skateboard ramp.
Which I didn't, that didn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it makes sense because, Todd's skateboarding, but when they first start bonding, it's over him practicing his pitches. I thought he was going to help build him like a pitching net.
Yeah, or like a batting cage or something.
So that he like when he would throw, the ball would return to him and he wouldn't have to keep bouncing the ball off the wall, driving his mom crazy. But no, he built him a monogrammed skate ramp. It's got his name emblazoned on the side and everything. Todd.
Yeah, and that's gonna and him riding back and forth on his skateboard outside is gonna be a bit noisy as well. Doesn't really solve the problem.
It doesn't wreck the siding though. I mean,
yeah,
that's true. That's true.
He does take a photo of his new family, and gets them to gets a good picture of them. And then we cut to the next session. Gene is leading another group therapy session, but he cuts it off a little early because he sees a man across the street go over to Carol's house, and he's like, "Uh-oh, what's that? What's that all about?" And he goes over and he finds out that Carol has a husband, and his name is Phil, aka Mitchell Laurance, as a one-time, very quick cast member run on Saturday Night Live during the infamous season 6.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I thought it would have been interesting if this character's last name had been Landerer. Because he cheated on his wife.
Oh.
Wah, wah.
Wow.
Yeah, dad joke. Got it in
Stepdad
there.
joke. Make room for daddy.
Well, or it could just be Landry, Phil Landry.
Landry, yep, because
there
that's
you go.
same idea.
Yeah.
So Phil is Carol's husband, and we learned that he's making an attempt to get back together with her, and she's thinking about it. She's thinking about maybe making amends, but she's not sure. Gene is
he walked out on her for some reason, and now he's back.
Yeah, Gene's upset about this, and as a result, he angrily cuts some wood in his garage. We should note at this point the character Maddie, who is Carol's best friend, and is a little suspicious because I guess, like Nathan said, she might be the only character in town with a functioning brain.
Yep.
She's a little suspicious of Gene, but she goes over to his house, at first knocking on the door, but then just decides to walk right in.
Well, I want to say that this was part of her ruse to come back to his place to check out his stuff, because she left her hat there, like her postman's baseball cap or whatever, at the therapy session. Then she goes over and she's like knocking on the door and ringing the doorbell. You can clearly hear the table saw coming out of the garage because he's not in the basement. There's no basement in this house. Why does she keep knocking on the door? Why doesn't she go around to the side of the garage? Because she wants to go in and snoop around and see his notes that say, he just kept writing
the
this.
smile.
Make a smile your
smiles on
umbrella or something like that. Yeah.
It's that over and over. It's like all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. It's like this movie's version of that.
It's a little, it's their little Jack Torrance.
That way that she knows he's not actually taking clinical notes of the group therapy.
He's taking crazy person notes.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It would be great if it was just if it was just like mad scrawling, and then there's just like doodles of people being hung and shit like that.
Just says "make room for daddy" over and over again.
Over and over. Yeah. Like
And just one quick blurb about cabaret blowjob.
What?
Is that from
the
is
show
that
tune.
also from the other step?
Oh, the show tunes. Right.
Yeah.
No, it's not from the other stepfather, Galen, but that was a good guess though.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, she does see that. He shows up though, and
figured she's dead, right? That's
yeah,
what you thought?
I thought this is it for her, but he does let her leave after she kind of just gets her hat and goes.
Yep.
So Gene at this point, he's like talking to Carol about Phil, and he's like, listen, if you're not sure, why don't you sell Phil? Why don't you don't sell Phil? That'd be weird. You don't have ownership over Phil. You don't have the right to sell Phil, but you should send Phil over to my house and let me just talk to the guy. I know I've known you for 4 days at this point.
But I am a doctor.
I am
who
a doctor.
hasn't shown you any of his credentials and
Nope.
only runs group therapy sessions in his living room.
Yes, for a bunch of single women.
Right. So,
Yeah.
well, not single woman. I mean, we got Hummer over there.
She's
Well,
married.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
But he does say send Phil over, and Carol is like, okay. So
Sure. Sees nothing suspect about that. Yeah.
And for some
And-
reason, Phil is okay with this too. Like, it's a weird.
Yeah. He's not happy about it, but he'll do
But-
anything for love.
More like anything to get back into a house with a warm bed and cooked food.
As well,
Right.
yeah. According to according to Jerry / Gene. Yeah.
See, I think they're trying to tell us that Phil's not great either. Probably not deserving of his fate in this movie. But I don't think he's supposed to be that great though. Either.
Well, we don't really get much opportunity. I mean, it sounds there's really nothing about him that tells us that his desire is disingenuous.
I don't know. I found him a little on the sleazy side.
Okay.
He definitely had a possessive streak to him. You could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had some shit to work through. I mean, maybe they maybe they should get in. Maybe they should go into some couples therapy with Gene.
Wow, Galen, why don't you just write #Team Phil right on your Twitter account?
I just might. Hold on, guys. Logging into Twitter. Oh,
Hashtag-
I've been banned. Okay.
Phil Landry.
Yeah. Tagging Terry Quinn. Oh, he's blocked me.
Oh, it turns out he has no social media.
Surprise.
So Gene starts to tell Phil, he's like, Carol told me to tell you that it was over and she couldn't say it herself. And Phil is like, come on, that's nonsense. I'll go talk to her myself. And he's like, oh, I made that all up, Phil. It was just a test. Carol was just going to get me to test you. Anyway.
And
let's have a drink.
Fine.
Let's have it. Yeah. And he's fine with that. There's nothing suspect about that. That doesn't sound like the behavior of a crazy person.
Oh, especially the part where he says, let's have a drink. Aren't you having some? No. You just go ahead and drink without me. No. If I'm drinking from a strange bottle that I didn't see you open, and just like open, like unseal, open, and pour into the glass, no, you're drinking it too.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he had unsealed it and broken the seal just for you to pour it in, you still would have died in this situation.
Well, I know,
Absolutely.
but that's so crazy to me because they set it up. From what I could see, it looked like it was being set up so that he was drugging him.
Mhm.
And then they just
absolutely. That's the setup. But then it's just like, nah, I'm just gonna smash this over your head.
Bringing
I
him one, yeah.
I laughed so hard because I was expecting one thing and I was expecting them to zig
yeah,
and they zagged
Yeah, it just zagged all over the place.
all over my face.
Yeah, not as much zagging on the face as the other stepfather, but
No, not as much zagging, but a lot of zigging though.
Will not be. I hope that does not catch on as a saying.
Zagging
We're gonna
over my
say-
face.
Zagging
oh,
all
oh,
over the place.
I'm gonna zag.
Don't you zag.
Don't you zag
till
on
I'm
me.
ready.
Don't you zag on me.
You pull out
Dude,
and zag. You pull out and zag on my chest.
You do a remake of that song, but change it to zag zag zag.
What song?
That is skeet skeet skeet.
Oh.
Oh, skeet, skeet, skeet. Oh, wow. Yeah. I always thought it was scat, scat, scat.
That yuck.
That's a different song.
Yes,
Okay.
That's the
Oh
Dustin-
boy, that
that's
was the song playing in the other Stepfather.
That was the
Ugh.
that's the Dustin Diamond cover. Rest his soul.
Oh boy.
So
Ugh.
no, he smashes
You okay
the
there,
bottle,
Nathan?
I'm good. Ugh.
smashes the bottle over Phil's head, and then stabs it with him over and over, and says, "Make room for Daddy."
Yeah.
Oh, Carol wants you to call her. Because
That
Carol
was a great moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh right, because then Carol calls and is looking for Phil, and he says after they end the call to Phil, who is clearly dead, Carol wants you to call her. Yes. Gene at this point goes to Phil's hotel room.
the
empties it out.
7-star suites. Not by the
7-star?
looks of that room.
Mm.
He empties it out. He puts Phil in the back of a car. He's driving around a junkyard, just like smashing up the car as much as he can.
But he's like listening to like classical music. Like it's
Yep.
not he's playing it, blaring it loud, like Ride the Lightning is over the stereo.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have the budget for they didn't have the hair metal budget of all the other all the other horror films of the 80s
They
did.
couldn't get Dokken.
They couldn't get Dokken to
They were too busy making a tune for a Freddy Krueger
for
movie.
Freddy Krueger, exactly. Yeah.
So I guess his intention is to make it look like Phil just got drunk and got smashed up in a junkyard. Because they quickly follow this scene by the car getting compacted.
Yeah.
Phil inside. So Phil's dead as fuck. We get some more bonding.
But it was also at this point that I took notice that if they made this movie or they wanted to remake this series today and wanted to make it look as spot on as the original ones, they just needed to hire Will Forte to play the stepfather, because Terry O'Quinn looks so much like Will Forte in like his Tim Calhoun character.
Right.
With that just kind of like
Absolutely,
wispy hair
yeah.
at the top and chin, it looked spot on. I was like, honest to God.
I mean, what would be great is what I would love is, because this whole genre has basically been it has now just become the plot of this film is basically just every movie on Lifetime.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it would be amazing for the people who did that that played straight Lifetime movie with Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig to do like a Psycho Dad movie with Will Forte played straight would be amazing.
Yes. When you said Tim Calhoun, I just pictured like Gene in the movie saying like, "This is why I'm gonna murder you, Carol.
That would be great.
Here are my points. Look at the camera. Oh no." So yeah, so Gene starts, he's talking with Todd again, and they start bonding. He's like, Todd is like, "You're always whistling this tune. It's gonna become important, guys."
Yeah. Chekhov's Camptown Races.
Yeah,
The thing is, it took forever for someone just to say, "Yeah, that's Camptown Races."
Yeah.
Yeah, and they present it as though it's not a song that like everyone learns in kindergarten.
Some super obscure song.
Super obscure.
Oh,
Yeah. I haven't heard
this-
that in years.
It's just this song my dad used to hum.
No, it's like everyone knows that fucking song.
That was the craziest part, is that they tried to say like that, like later on when it becomes a huge part of the plot is when they say like nobody just like knows that song. That's just like not a common thing at all.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this really obscure piece called "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star"?
Like, and for those of you wondering, if you don't know just from the title, it's the song that goes, "Camptown Races, sing this song, doo-dah,
Doo-dah,
doo-dah."
doo-dah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, you didn't have to explain that because everybody knows that song.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but they were talking about it's like like an obscure Woody Guthrie B-side or something.
They don't, and someone actually doesn't say the title of it until like 3/4 of the way through the movie.
So,
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's Camptown Races.
so Gene teaches Todd the song as if he's never heard the tune before.
Yeah, it requires a few lessons, to get that one down. It's a real complex melody.
It would have been great if they cut to like an entire montage
Of him learning the song. Yeah. Breaking out sheet music. No, not do-da.
Got the metronome out, pitch whistle.
Yeah.
Even Stepfather II had a montage.
Oh yeah. There's a marching band shows up.
I love how all of this, like his talking with Todd about Camptown Races, and they're making a sandwich, and it's all cutting back and forth to Todd's father being murdered by a car compactor.
It's amazing. Speaking of which, I don't know if this is a regional thing, but are you guys familiar with a by gum sandwich? Do they have those in Canada?
By gum sandwich.
Oh, when he says, "I'm gonna make myself a by gum
Yeah,
sandwich."
when I'm feeling down, I just make myself the biggest by gum sandwich I can think of.
Okay.
Do you know what a by gum sandwich is? I don't. What's in a by gum sandwich?
I've definitely heard someone say "by gum" before.
I feel
Yeah, but I've never heard a by gum sandwich.
Because Gene/Jerry, he wants to put on airs to be the perfect father, so he's not going to swear. So he's not going to say, "I'm going to make the biggest."
Well, what's a goddamn sandwich, or I don't know. Is he just saying I just make myself the big? Is he basically saying like I'm just make myself the biggest fucking sandwich I can think of?
Yep.
Yeah.
Big old fucking sandwich.
I figured it was just 2 pieces of toast and Wrigley's in the middle.
No, it would have to be Wrigley's and Trident because it's a by gum sandwich.
Oh, because it
has to
you could
too.
So, yeah, right, yeah.
Right.
All gum is equal. I agree. That's not true. All gum is not equal.
You ever had Thrills? Ugh.
By the way, I'm googling by gum sandwich. No results. There is no such thing.
Is your safe search on?
Yeah, there's no such thing. For the other Stepfather.
There's just a screenshot of Stepfather. I think it's the other one.
Yeah. Because I was thinking like, is that like a Dagwood or something? Is that is like the Dagwood sandwich?
The biggest Dagwood sandwich I can. Even saying it like that, it sounds like he's saying it as like an affectation.
Yeah, right. Dagwood. Yeah, yeah. There are some Dagwoods in the other Stepfather.
Right. Zagwood.
That's a delicious sandwich.
There's some Zagwood. Yeah.
The zag of the Dagwood. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Dig and dag, zig and zag. Yeah.
You've taken this episode to a Stephen Isian level, Galen. I want to let you know.
That's what I aspire to.
So Gene talks to Carol and he's like, "Listen, I saw right through Phil. He's bad news. He's in it for he just wants a place to sleep. He's in it for the money. Anyway, let's start making out." And they start making out while Phil's car is crushed.
That's enough. That's enough for her. She doesn't need any more persuasion. She's not like, well, I need to talk to him. Nope. Nope. It's just like, okay, fine.
I wish we could get a sense of the time that passes here.
Oh, because in the next scene he announces that they're getting married?
Thank you. Yes.
It seems like a week.
Yeah, it seems like almost no time has gone by.
It seems like about I mean, I guess there's been depending on how many depending on how often their sessions are, because there's been like what two like 2 or 3 sessions, so that's it's like maybe a month.
Yeah.
Maybe a month has gone by.
That's
and then
get to know someone.
Yeah. And then but not and about a week-long courtship before marriage proposal.
Right. So of course when he makes the announcement, Maddie has her doubts about this, as she should.
Yes.
As anybody should.
As all of her friends should. Yes. Everyone there should basically be like, no, this we all object. This should not happen.
Also, you come to group with us. He's your doctor.
Yeah. Maybe that's what does it for her. Getting
into a real monkey bone territory here.
Yeah.
But we do cut to another makeout session, and but they're about to get really hot and heavy, and Gene says, "I want to wait until marriage to have sex," which Carol thinks is a bit Victorian, as she says. And also, Jean has the ability to reject Meg Foster temporarily. I mean, that's a superhero if I've ever heard one.
He's psychotic. Remember?
Yeah.
That's the only way to explain that. He is
Right.
a raving you lunatic.
Meg Foster is all over him, and he's like,
Nah.
let's wait.
I'm good.
Even as evil Lynn, and I know she's aligned with Skeletor, I would not be able to resist the charms of one Meg Foster.
Especially as Evil Lynn.
Right?
There's a peek into my brain.
Yeah.
Leave the headdress on.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
As you were.
If only Frank Langella played the stepfather.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So
That
many
would
levels.
that would be so awesome, because that would mean this would be a sequel to Masters of the
Yeah.
Universe.
With so yes, and he only became Skeletor during sex.
And she only becomes Evil Lynn after sex.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and they're constantly two ships in the night. Yeah.
Yeah, I smell a sitcom. So
Womp womp womp. Yeah.
Maddie is doing her mail delivering thing, and she notices that something is amiss. She sees a piece of mail come in for Gene from a high school in Portland.
But
That's not where he said he was from. He said he was from Connecticut.
Before that, she actually had it out when she had told Carol she had her doubts about this whole thing. She actually made mention that he only gets bills and flyers. Nobody's writing him, which kids, that was a thing back in the 80s. You would get personal correspondence in the mail directly
That's how you did
addressed
it, yeah.
to you. Yeah. So nobody's writing
my
him.
94-year-old grandma.
And so she's like, okay, so like you're watching him. Really, Maddie, if you were my friend, you'd be happy for me. And then we cut to her again rifling through Jane's mail.
Yeah,
Yep.
so she's so we don't see what she's
Taking the law into her own hands.
Yeah, we don't see what she sees right away, but I promise you it's a great payoff. But she sees that he got a high school reunion thing from Portland, and he said he's from Connecticut, so she obviously thinks this is weird. She meets with Gene at the park. She says,
she calls him to set this up, and that scene where he gets the call has further proof that he is a full-blown psychopath. He is eating off-brand Rice Krispies and enjoying it. Lunacy.
It just says rice.
You know,
It gives like crisp rice or something like that in a green box.
And he puts a lot of milk in it. And
listens to it and gets the biggest shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah.
He's enjoying that shit. Yeah, there's if there's no snap apple prop.
Jesus, Galen.
Snap apple prop. Yeah.
Well, that would be it, because that's the off-brand.
That would be
the off-brand, exactly.
Yeah.
For some reason, Snap still got to keep his name.
They got the rights to him.
But Papple and Prop.
Papple and Prop are in there. Yeah. Snap apple prop. Yeah.
Kellogg's Price Rispies.
Okay, that's not how off-brands work, Brendan.
I think you could just rhyme it.
Yeah.
So
Pony the Piker. Yeah.
Pony the Liger.
One of my favorite animal. God.
Yeah. There's a horse head on a liger body. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Voiced by John Heater. See the newest Pinocchio film.
Yeah.
Or don't.
Yeah.
Oh, from everything I've heard, don't.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the Russian animated one with Pauly Shore.
Oh wow. Yeah. Don't forget Kunt Chocula.
Oh, okay. Okay, now watch it, Galen. You're getting real close with those words.
Cunt Chocula.
Hey, you took it there. You took it there. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You went too far, Brendan.
Kunt Chocula.
Too far.
All I said was Kunt Chocula, and then you had to punch it right in the Kunt.
If anybody ever asked me when I about my podcast, especially like when I'm talking to older relatives, people at my church and whatnot, I say,
listen to it right now.
I said, it's called this. Please don't listen to it.
Don't listen to any episode with Galen or Steve and Izzy.
Or, any of them, because a lot of the times I'm drunk, so.
But definitely listen to the episode on where Nathan makes the Holocaust joke.
Surprisingly, I'm completely sober right now.
There you go. So, okay, so the movie. So
Oh, right. Movie?
So,
Yeah, got
so
it.
Maddie meets with Jean and she confronts him on this whole thing. And then in the most hilarious turn of events, she shows him the picture from the graduation from the graduating
Oh my
class,
god, that was the best.
and they're
Yes.
all black people. So he can't be
Yes.
Jean. I was waiting for him to say like, well, it was different back then or something like that.
or if he'd interrupt her, you know about Michael Jackson, right?
Or he's like, you ever see Soul Man? Well, it's the reverse of that.
It's the reverse of that. It's a really great sketch by Eddie Murphy called
Yeah,
White Like
it's-
Me.
it's
That's what
just
I'm
been-
doing right now.
It's just been 90 minutes of White Like Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But he basically says, okay, listen, yeah, you got me. Let me tell Carol though. Let me do it. And Maddie's like, okay, her first dumb moment in this movie, really.
Right. Oh yeah, because she's
Like she
been...
should have went straight to the cops.
Yeah, no,
she should've,
absolutely,
no, I am telling everybody.
But Jean goes to Carol. He gives her some flowers, apologizes for their little argument about not having sex till their wedding night earlier, and they start getting intimate. And you know what? He has that sex, baby.
Yep.
And then she sees his scar from the first movie, and she's like, "Oh, no wonder you didn't want to reveal you didn't want to have sex." He's like, "I'm such a hideous beast," and I'm like, "It's a line on your chest, dude."
Yeah,
It's the slightest. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Like even she says like, "Oh, I understand now." So she's just seen this gaping wound or something.
right, or just a whole, just a rash of scars, or or whatnot. It's just it's the slightest nick,
Yeah. So he makes up a story about a patient attacking him. They have sex, blah blah blah. We cut to Maddie's house, and she has let me just make sure I got this right. Indoor wind chimes. She had indoor wind chimes.
yeah.
That
That's
was
a-
weird.
That was an
Yeah.
80s thing.
But it's a weird thing regardless.
Yeah.
It was, also arguing their arguing the defense for a closeted romance. She has a framed picture of Carol in her house.
Listen, if this was made today, this would be the romance.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of any time that I just have for all my best friends, just have a framed photo of them. Maybe of like us together, but it's literally just like it's like a glam shot of Carol, just like on her, just on one of like the just on one of the side tables.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think that was a thing.
I don't think that was a thing.
Not
Yeah.
in the 80s, no.
what I think is really weird, Galen, is I could see behind you there seems to be a picture of just me, barely any clothes. I'm not sure how you got that one, but
Oh, that was there's that like in your bathroom, like it looks like a smoke alarm.
oh dear. Oh
Yeah.
wow, it is.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh.
Just be sure to just change the battery, next Friday, and kind of angle it a little more towards the shower.
Okay,
if
because
you
I was gonna ask you how you got that particular angle, but
Well, there's a when you hear that little whirring, there's a zoom lens there.
wait, Nathan, why do you have the same picture in your place?
Oh, I have it for an Epicac.
What?
If in case I ever ingest like poison or something,
and you need to vomit. You
force
just look
vomiting.
at that photo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, obviously, okay. Well, that makes me feel so much better.
Mine's for safety reasons. I'm pretty sure Galen's is for some sort of autoerotic reason.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am an artist, and
You were a fartist.
that too. But I have a collection of art in my in my home, and the Brendan's nude is happens to be part of it.
Okay, and I know we haven't gone back.
It's
to the
very
movie.
tasteful. It's very tasteful.
I know we haven't gone back to the movie in a minute, but now I want to pitch a movie for you right now, Galen. It's called The Fartist, and it's the same thing as The Artist. It's a silent film. It's in black and white, but the only sounds are just the occasional farts that you do.
This is true. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it's about the first Foley sound, and so the person who like the first sound that they created was the farts.
I think that was the name of a Brian Posehn like comedy album.
Probably. The fartist.
The fartist, yeah.
The fartist.
Well,
yes, and it did mimic the artist poster. And he talks about having a farting penis.
I'm gonna have you study under Jean Dujardin. He's gonna help you get ready to portray the farting version of his character.
Jean Dujardin.
Jean Dujardin.
Yeah.
No, Gene, his brother. It's a
okay, got it. Oh yeah, is it Gene from this movie?
It is. Well, speaking of this movie, good segue.
Good.
So Maddie has indoor wind chimes. It's weird. It's the 80s, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she hears them moving in the wind, and she's like, "Oh, that's weird." And she just sticks her head in her chimney. And then Gene comes out of nowhere like a goddamn diamond cutter, and just like smothers her with like two pillows.
But he turns the gas on.
Yeah, he turns the gas on, but he's like smothering her in the chimney, and he actually says, "Just hey, stop! Just let it happen. It'll be easier if you just stop struggling." And he kills poor Maddie, and he hangs her from a noose, makes it look like a suicide.
He doesn't, but he
tries to.
Yeah, that does not look like a suicide.
He types something. I forget what he puts in the typewriter. It's very basic, like, "Oh, I'm gonna end it all. I'm so sorry, everyone." Blah blah blah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. It'd be great
down...
if it would be great as like, as the I'm gonna end it because I'm sick of being around a bunch of idiots. You all make poor life decisions. I just can't handle it anymore. Goodbye.
With him killing her with the gas in the fireplace, that's not how I figured this would come into play. I thought we were going to get a very Mikey-esque ending with the gas,
on fire.
He would kill a bunch of people and they would be in the house, and his plan was going to be to blow up the house, and then he's ultimately undone by his own plan. Spoiler alert, that's not what happens here.
So Gene, having killed Maddie, just strolls away, crosses through the yard, starts humming Camptown Races.
And his undoing.
Her old blind neighbor is like, "Wait a second," and he's like, "Who's there?" And of course he quickly runs through the yard. The next day, hilariously, he comes over to the house and says, "Listen, I was just sitting there. There was a gentleman who had an argument with her right before she died, and then I knew it stuck out to me because he was whistling Camptown Races, and I don't remember the last time I've heard that tune." I'm like, What are you talking about?
Yeah, shoehorns it all in there. Well, whoever she must have been really broken up about that fella who left the house.
Like, just the fact that he says, "I never hear that tune." I'm like,
well, in all fairness, you probably don't normally hear it in the your average run-of-the-mill day in 1989 California. But
yeah, and that and it seems like that guy probably never leaves the house. So
it seems like it's weird that he would have to say that.
Yeah.
If he
just never hear that song.
I haven't heard that song in a long time. It would have been far more hilarious if Carol had been like, "What the fuck are you talking about? It's like top 5 on Casey Kasem this week." Jesus, old man, go to bed. Get with the times. Everyone's Camptown racing.
I love Debbie Boone's cover of Camptown Races. It's just it's really rollicking, and
Kylie Minogue redid Locomotion, and then Debbie Boone.
I couldn't believe I heard someone whistling "Our House" by Madness, and I don't recall ever hearing that song before.
I love that he's never heard it, but he knows who.
Well,
he knows
of course
who it's
I
by.
know the song, but
I know the song and the band. Yes. Yeah, One Step Beyond. I have it on wax cylinder.
He sang that new Rem song.
Rem. Yeah. Or Run Dunk. That rap band, Run Dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they come to the conclusion that, wow, that's really weird that you heard that song. And Carol doesn't know that that's like Gene's tune, but Todd does. But Todd's not here in this scene right now. So Gene starts saying like, oh, maybe like a teenager ran through your yard, and he's like, well, surely a teenager wouldn't be whistling Camptown Races.
So Carol says that.
Right.
Carol says, and that's the first time someone actually calls it Camptown Races.
Right.
Because I wrote, my note is right here. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for saying Camptown Races.
Oh, that was that old. Yeah, because he has to whistle the song. He doesn't say, oh, it's Camptown Races. It's just like, oh, let me whistle it for you.
Right.
It's wow. They just hammer that home.
Understandably so, Carol wants to postpone the wedding because her best friend has just been murdered, or at least killed herself, as far as she knows.
Yes.
And Gene makes no effort in making himself not look guilty by being like, no, I think we should have the wedding. Let's just have the wedding. That's your.
It's like, oh, so yeah. He literally says, so you want to postpone the wedding because you're too busy grieving? It's like, wow, red flag.
Selfish. Just because your stupid best friend died.
Like, listen, we could just get a justice.
I know your friend. I know your friend committed suicide, but come on, we got to get married. Since our proposal 5 days ago.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and our week of courtship. Come on. Yeah.
He offers he offers them to have like a simple wedding, and she finally succumbs, and she's like, okay, let's get married.
Right. He offers to just do like a justice of the peace, which doesn't seem like, he's just, angling for, any kind of, legal security or anything like that.
Certainly not.
No,
nope. Certainly not. So he can just, have that perfect family and then kill and move on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then give himself some other stupid name. Yeah.
The next day, we cut to the wedding. I'm assuming it's the next day. And it seems like it. And
again, this movie took place over 8 days.
It either took place over 8 days or 3 years. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But Carol's in her wedding dress, and Jonathan Brandis gets this great 80-yard. Mom, you look really cool.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed how terrible that was done.
So bad. Yeah, someone definitely said that in post like a month before the movie came out.
Oh, there's like no lip sync on that?
You don't even see his back is to the camera.
And
that's amazing.
The sound, like the equalization of the sound is way off, because as soon as he says it, like her voice, the pitch is like, it's much lower than, wow, Mom, you look cool.
Yeah, I thought it was like we were in like a situation where like Daniel Stern was narrating for a second.
Yeah, right.
Well, what if they dubbed that because the original line was, "Wow, Mom, you look smoking hot."
I mean, that probably was the line.
And,
whoa, Mom, I do ya.
Oh boy.
Whoa, make room for Mommy.
Yeah.
I tap that ass. Jonathan, can we do another one?
Yeah, I think that was the line. I tapped that, Mom.
Wow, what a MILF. Jonathan, what is a MILF? Well, let me explain to you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big thing in about 10 years.
Yeah. You know that song, that song Camptown MILFs?
Reaching on that one, but anyways,
well, it's Camptown Ladies, Camptown Ladies, Camptown MILFs.
Milftown Races. Yeah.
Milftown Races, Milftown Ladies, yeah. The Milftown Ladies.
In one of the related videos to the other Stepfather movie I watched.
Milftown Races. I love it. Not the Milftown Racist, which is not a pornography.
No, that is a documentary, yes.
The documentary.
Yeah.
Coming soon to Netflix.
Oh.
That's a documentary about Scott Baio.
Spelled with a U.
Yeah.
So anyway, the wedding is about to start. We got the guests filing in. Of course, then Carol notices that one of the wedding gifts is from Maddie's parents, and they sent her a brand of wine. Oh, wait a second, we didn't mention this, but they sent her the same brand of wine that Gene stole from Maddie after he killed her to give to Carol. A dumb move on his part.
Yeah, really, really dumb.
Like, come on, dude. And she says, like, wait a second, that's the wine that Gene gave me. Surely they both can't like the same wine. And then she hears Todd whistling Camptown Races in the hallway. And she says, Todd, where did you learn that song, that adult song? And he says, well, Gene taught it to me.
Oh boy, yeah.
Carol puts all the clues together, and he just freaks out.
Yeah, they really, again, they really they really pace that one out. I mean, it's not like, I mean, she has to. She's so off taken aback by it that she calls him into the other room and
sends Todd away.
Yes, and has to have a little talk about it. Yeah.
Oh my God! In this scene, oh my God!
And he says, "What's your problem? I was a good father to your son. I even had sex with you, for God's sakes."
Like
that
it
was amazing.
Store. It's big looking Foster.
I had sex with you before we got married. What? How could you get mad?
You're no Shelley Hack.
Shelley Hack?
Yeah, that's who played the mom from the first movie.
Oh wow, what a deep cut.
The mom from Seventh Heaven.
The mom from Seventh, yeah,
and you know Shelley Long or something like that.
Yeah, Shelley Hack, yeah.
But he's like, yeah, I even had sex with you, and he's freaking out. And then of course Gene locks Todd in a closet and starts giving chase to Carol while all these guests are just filing in for a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Carol,
who they hear none of any
of this. Yeah, those are some heavy insulation in that in that dressing room.
That fucking barn house? Like, it's such a small building. It seems.
Actually, I looked up to see if this was filmed in and around Vancouver for some of the stuff, and I'm pretty sure I've seen that church.
Is it filmed? Was it filmed in Vancouver?
Yeah, it was one of the locations.
Yeah, it had that it seemed like it did have a. I mean, the whole film has kind of a Canada vibe.
It does.
Especially the parts where they're in Puget Sound and in Oregon, both in Vancouver.
Right.
Anytime anything's done in Oregon or Washington State, chances are it was filmed in Canada.
Yeah.
So,
in this case, in this case, San Bernardino. It's a fill in for San Bernardino.
Well, no, some of the really deserty looking stuff, like when they have that meeting between Maddie and Gene at the bench, and it's like a park in like a kind of a desert looking neighborhood. I'm assuming that part was shot in California because there was sections of it that were shot in California too.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Carol does manage to stab Gene in the hand, but he does continue to stalk her, and then Carol stabs him in the chest, and he's like, haha, been there, bitch, don't feel a thing. And then suddenly Todd bursts out of the closet and hammers Gene in the hand, making him drop the knife. Gene is taunting him. He's like, I'm gonna, you're not gonna do anything to me, you're not gonna do anything to me. And Todd is actually the one that, I guess, quote unquote, kills Gene by hammer clawing him right in the chest. Boom.
And the part earlier when they were building the skate ramp, and he was showing Todd how to hammer the nails in, and he asked Todd if he wanted to try, and he was doing it kind of weakly, and he said, no, you want to take it like this and swing like you mean it. And I was waiting for him, for Todd to be like, swung like I mean it. Come on, give me that. I just wanted that
a little callback, just a little callback. Yeah.
Nothing again. Leaving me disappointed.
No, in case instead we get a horrifying image of Carol and Todd all bloody coming out as like a Game of Thrones style wedding between mother and
blood
son.
wedding, like a Medea kind of thing. Yeah.
Adding to the creepy nature of the relationship to begin with.
It's a bonding experience for both of them.
Cutting back to Gene. He, I say, dies. Let's just forget there's another one, but he dies while whispering, "Till death." And then we just cut to Carol and Todd having much happier times, and I'm assuming they get married. The end.
Which means, at the end of it all, this movie is terribly mistitled. He never once, he did not get married at all. Not once in this movie is he a stepfather.
The almost stepfather?
Yeah. Doesn't have the same ring.
True. Yeah, well, there you go. That was probably the working title.
The not quite a stepfather.
Almost, just in parentheses, almost stepfather too. Make room for daddy.
Step up father.
Make room for almost daddy.
A step up father to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's motherfucking Stepfather 2. So as Nathan crumples up those notes,
Not needing those anymore.
we
That's
go
right.
around the horn.
Wait, final thoughts, Nathan. Final thoughts.
Oh no,
Too
we got it. Don't worry.
Okay, you got him in there.
Go around the horn and decide what everyone thinks about this movie. So Galen, I'll start with you. Is this movie worth a watch? A drunk watch with friends? Would you attempt head trauma to forget it or avoid it like the plague?
Well, I will say this on second watch, this film doesn't hold up. This film wasn't the rollicking good time of the first one. There are some diminishing returns, but but absolutely, this is a drunk watch with friends. There's a lot of fun to be had here, and I think a little a little shot or two, a little drinky poo, getting a little October, and you're gonna have a good old time.
All right, drunk watch with friends. What say you, Nathan?
Oh, I'm same. There's enough. I mean, it's a lot of it's kind of by the numbers, but it's done.
I mean, it's by the first film, beat by beat.
Right. But there's enough zany stuff unintentionally and sometimes intentionally going on, like the whole, Show Tunes Hummer and the, why was Dreamhouse such a popular show in this cinematic universe? And of course, Terry O'Quinn every once in a while when the mask just kind of slips off, like him angrily woodworking is one of the funniest dad things I've seen in movies in a long time. So yeah, this is definitely a drunk watch with friends for sure.
He chews the scenery, eats it, and poops it out in the best way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I gotta say, and I'm gonna join you guys in saying drunk watch with friends, but I gotta say, Terry O'Quinn's performance is actually genuinely great in this movie
absolutely.
and the last one.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I mean, it's scenery chewing in just the best way. I mean, he completely commits to it, and it definitely carries the film. It's a lot of fun.
And listen, I love Meg Foster. She's wonderful all the time, and it's just
the deadly robot eyes. Yeah,
it's
sexy deadly robot eyes. Yeah,
sexy deadly robot eyes is a perfect description of her. But this movie is just it's such a weird movie. There's so many weird coincidences, like we talked about the Camptown Races thing, and just like so many moments that like don't make a whole lot of sense, but they're just there for plot points, and it's so funny. So yeah, totally a drunk watch. But if you want to watch like a genuinely good movie similar to this, watch the first one.
Yes, this would be a great one. Is you watch the first one and then get drunk and watch the second one.
There you go. You start drinking.
About halfway through, and then by the end, you're nice and toasty and ready for a good old time.
And you're ready to make room for Daddy.
Oh yeah, make all the room. Yeah.
So with that consensus under our belts, we are going to take a brief break and pay some bills by playing you some ads from our sponsors, BRB.
What were they thinking?
NPR bot, please.
Room for Daddy made.
Oh no.
Still got that going on.
These NPR bots he needs to stop watching these movies. I'm telling you. I told you to reprogram him.
I'm trying my hardest, but he keeps putting me into NPR mode, and it's really distracting and erotic.
It is pretty erotic.
Yum.
But we are in NPR mode, and it's time for the low haiku. Nathan, tell the folks what the low haiku is all about.
Well, the low haiku is 17 perfect syllables to describe the movie that we've just been talking about for an hour and some change.
Very good, very good. Now, Galen, as our guest, would you like to start with your poetry, your haiku?
My haiku, hi and coup to you all. Stepfather II haiku commence. It's hard to fix a broken family with a hammer in your chest.
Very good, very good, very good.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Now, and Nathan, do you have a haiku for us as well?
Yes. Mine is as follows. Escaped a psych ward. Got to find me a new wife. Should try Truth Social. There.
An app that is almost impossible to get.
Right, but filled with sociopaths.
Yes.
Worth it.
Oh. Galen Howard.
And-
Follow him on Truth Social at Galen Howard.
And
Please do. Please do.
Brendan, would
Yes.
you be so kind as to send us on home?
Yes. Go home. All of them.
Okay, bye.
Haha, that is what we call in the business a bit. Yes, my haiku. and again, this goes based on a mistake on my part. So please give me the benefit of the doubt on this one. The worst crime of all: murder, assault, threats? No, mustache thievery. I apologize.
Very
I was
good.
really
Very good.
Very upset.
Well,
That to me.
when we peeled back the curtain to show you that there was an explanation for the mustache.
Very
Mustache.
upset.
Yes. There's always an explanation for a mustache. That's what I always say.
Yes, Mustache Explanations, my new favorite podcast, by the way.
Mhm,
Check them
yes.
out on Earwolf.
We yeah. All mustaches explained.
Hmm.
A 3-part on Burt Reynolds.
I mean, that could be a whole podcast. But anyway, NPR bot, do something quick.
Till death.
What? Wait, what? What did he say?
He said till death.
Oh dear. Oh, I know it's from the movie too, but like I'm a little worried.
He's been listening to a lot of The Cure lately, so.
Do we have it? Do we have it in the budget to upgrade to another model, or do we just?
Oh, I don't know. Milos built that one, so I think of all the people who would be able to fix the programming, it'd be him. I mean, most of the stuff I think he just got from parts that fell off of other machines around the studio.
He's a real
I think
Johnny,
yeah.
He's a real Johnny.
I think you
Five,
need
that one.
I think you need the iPhone 14 to run it.
Well,
It's
well,
that app's only available,
that's coming soon though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But anyway, we're back. We're out of NPR mode. We're out. We're proud, and we're going
Proud
to,
boys?
We are
No.
not. We are not a bunch of proud boys. We are boys that are proud. But we are not proud boys.
No, not at all.
We are
Just checking. Just checking.
We talked about this movie. We waxed poetical. We sang its praises. We laughed at it. But Nathan, what do we always say?
Well, we always say.
Don't take a word for it.
That's right. That's what we say. We tell people not to take our word for it. And surely the critics have made their stamp on this influential film. Nathan, what are they saying?
The critics are saying a big old goose egg.
Oh, no. And probably 98 reviews, right?
6 reviews. 0% of them enjoyed it.
Well, what about the audience? I'm sure, Stepfather was a popular movie. And maybe the second one they might have liked a little bit too.
I don't know. I think you're assuming that the Stepfather franchise was popular is a bit of an overreach, because definitely a D-list slasher franchise if we're talking about the 80s. But the audience, well, they could only like it a little bit more, I guess. But 34% out of 2,500 ratings.
I don't know that there's a movie on Rotten Tomatoes with a 0 audience rating. I don't think it's possible.
Okay, well that's a distinct, because there would always be somebody to show up and be like, no, I give it 5 stars. Look, all of you, I'm an internet troll, edgelord king.
Right. I'm waiting for a review bomb that actually works.
Yeah, but if you did enjoy Stepfather 2, you might like Spellbinder, which
Sure.
I've never heard of. Phantasm 3.
Not the first or the second one though.
Nope. Number 3, Lord of the Dead.
Oh, Spellbinder, by the way, has Carrie Tagawa and Kelly Preston. If you
Oh,
want.
yes, please.
Okay. And then of course, Wishmaster, the Wes Craven genie movie.
Wes Craven.
That's
He produced it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Robert
Yeah.
Englund's in it, and
Yeah.
Yeah. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Mhm.
I believe starring Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
No, that was a later one. That was in the 90s.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
I am
the one-
positive. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
positive.
the one with this one has Viggo Mortensen in it.
Oh wow! All right.
Okay. Oh, and
Yeah.
finally, you might also like John Carpenter's Vampires Los Muertos.
Or John. Also, John Carpenter presents. Yeah.
But
he
also
was,
written on Rotten Tomatoes as John Carpenter's Vampires Los Muertos, which confused me for a bit. But I
Yeah.
was like, certainly he didn't direct the sequel to.
He did not. He absolutely did not. Yes.
It's kind of like
yeah, with the poor man's James Woods, John Bon Jovi.
Oof, and that's a statement right there.
I don't know what that.
Yeah, that's who they have in the lead instead of James Woods. So
Hey,
Oh,
listen,
okay.
James Woods, solid actor, and that's where my praise ends.
yep, we'll just leave it right there. Also, before we move on, I'd like to point out, looking at the poster for Stepfather 2 up here, there is there's like the poster has like Terry O'Quinn with a knife poised over the wedding cake with Meg Foster and then Jonathan, and then on the left and then Jonathan Brandis and a little girl and a dog.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
So because it clearly looks like Meg Foster and Jonathan Brandis, and then flanking Jonathan Brandis are a little girl and a dog, not in the movie.
Maybe Rotten Tomatoes accidentally put up the poster for the movie that Nathan watched.
That's weird. That's not the one That's not the poster that I'm seeing.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
interesting. Yeah, that's the one. It's
No, mine looks like it would have been done for like maybe like a DVD reissue or something like that.
okay.
It's
Okay,
got it's got Terry O'Quinn's face in a knife. He's got the rage look on his face, and then Meg Foster's.
Oh yeah. There's that one. Yeah. I think I think this one's on the review page for one of them.
Are you on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb?
I think. Well, I think I clicked on one of the on one of the actual reviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so let's get into it. Let's see what the critics are saying. There ain't too many reviews here from the critics, but
Nope.
Bill Cosford of the Miami Herald.
Do the voice. Do the voice.
Oh no, please don't.
One of the defining
Do the
characteristics
voice.
of modern horror films is that no villain is ever truly dead, at least until the revenue curve is flat. And so comes Stepfather 2, Jello Puddin' Pop. 2 out of 4.
Okay, well, Nick Shager from Lessons of Darkness says,
Ooh.
rarely has a sequel followed its
Oh,
predecessor's exact template like
Uh.
this thoroughly imitated follow-up. C minus, Theo.
Oh boy. Wow. Yeah. All right. I was not on this podcast. I just want everyone to know that.
We're
Never
talking
here.
about the character Bill Huxtable.
Bill,
Yeah, that's why I
Bill
said Theo.
Bill Huxtable?
I don't
That's
know what his name was.
Cliff
Bill
Huxtable.
Huxtable? Yes.
Cliff Huxtable.
Cliff Cosby, Bill Huxtable. Yeah.
We're just talking about Bill Cosby's character from Meteor Man.
The real
Copy.
hero of the movie.
Or Leonard Part 6. Yeah.
Right. Classic.
Let's see. Well, going real succinct here, but Lori Hoffman from Atlantic City Weekly says the original is great. This is lousy.
All right.
Okay.
I think we
sums it up right there.
Covered that. But now we go into the audience reviews here. I'm sure these are going to be great.
We're gonna have a grand old time. Yeah.
My first review comes from Blobo X.
I love this.
Oh, that's storied, well-respected critic.
I love this. Yeah.
Blobo X gives it 5 stars and says, "Haven't seen Blobo just being contrarian."
And if you click on Blavo X's other reviews, it's him it's a character this person has created just speaking like a caveman of just like every review is just like Blavo no like Blavo likes movie.
My favorite of his is Castaway. Interesting, sad, profound. Movie stick with Blavo through next day.
Yeah, that's how he writes all of his reviews. It's a funny bit, and he commits to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my first audience review comes from Brendan W, and I can only assume that's Brendan Wall.
What?
As he writes, in the horror genre, sequels are just about as common as masked serial killer with a butcher knife. However, the second film in this trilogy is just about as compelling as the first. Terry O'Quinn returns and proposes nothing less than a profound recurring role as the psychopathic stepfather. He provides a solid basis for a penetrating and truly horrifying concept. 3 out of stars. Jeez, Brendan, you did say it was. You did say it was at least a drunk watch with friends.
Yeah, I do use the word penetrating quite a bit too.
Right. Well, how could you not?
I mean, talking about the other one, yeah.
Right.
All right, so Jordan W gives it 1.5 out of stars and says, with absolutely no punctuation, the movie could have been way better than it was.
Okay. Okay. This one is from Thomas P. And Thomas P gives it 4.5 out of stars and says, Stepfather 2 has been better than ever since the first one.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. Well, that's yeah.
Hot take.
So, hot take, yeah.
Well,
the high bar right there, yeah.
You want hot takes? My next one from Jim W, and I can only assume that's Jim Wynorski, and he writes, definitely doesn't deserve 0% good reviews. There's far worse sequels. 3.5 out of stars.
I would
3 out of stars.
Jim Wynorski did write that.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say that Jim W was going to say, whoops, watched the wrong movie.
Or you mean whoops, directed the wrong movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought this was Hills Have Thighs.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. Tom M just gives it 5 out of stars and simply says, awesome movie. Fave of mine.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
This is a weird one from Jesse V.
Jesse Ventura?
Jesse Ventura.
Oh, wow.
With an
Don't
I,
do the
though,
voice.
so he's... No, I can't. I'll kill my throat. Jesse V says, it's better than the Boat movie with Melissa Joan Hart, but worse than Sidekicks. It's like if Sidekicks didn't have Chuck Norris. Wait, I take that back. It's worse than the Melissa Joan Hart sailing movie. 1.5 stars.
What?
Exactly.
What?
I just love how he didn't just erase
Wow,
the
that goes on a ride. That goes. Wow, that's
We
a
just
journey
didn't-
right there.
He didn't just erase it and then start off again. Yeah.
So my next one comes from Keenan T, and I can only assume that's Keenan Thompson. And he writes, I actually like this movie. It was terrible but enjoyable. I watched it for Meg Foster and was pleasantly surprised. 2.5 out of stars.
Oh, that's pretty glowing for that low rating.
Keenan Thomas is, he is a positive guy. Even if he has to give a lower rating, he definitely wants to make it seem like upbeat.
He gave it an extra star because Kel wasn't in it.
There you go.
And they have a feud.
Oh, do they?
No, it's just that he actually mentioned that because he said, people think I hate Kel or something. He's like, no, I just got tired of all the questions that were like, where's Kel? He's like, I don't know. We're not working together all the time.
Oh boy.
It's like if people kept asking you, where's Tom Arnold? You're like, listen, I know everyone thinks we're best friends, but we don't hang out all the time.
No, just the Christmas parties,
Mm-hmm.
That's right before Christmas.
Is that like a Hare Krishna Christmas?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's like what is it, the Festivus? It's like that, but Christmas for the rest of us. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. It's just It's just me and Tom Arnold getting drunk together in a room.
Sounds like a blast, actually.
You know, it's
Every
there are worse
day is
things.
Christmas Day.
Christmas. Yeah. We it starts out Christmas, and then by the end we're just saying Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, what do you got, Galen?
Well,
From Tom A.
yeah. Eric M. Gives it 3.5 out of stars and says this: it's still weird to think that Jonathan Brandis is dead.
Oh my.
That was mine. Fuck.
That's his take. That's his take on the whole movie.
All right. Well, this is this. I'm gonna bring the room down even more, and this.
Okay,
is
great.
This will be my last review.
Excellent.
Very much in relation to what you said, Galen. Such a downgrade. No wonder Jonathan Brandis killed himself years later. 1.5 stars.
My Christ! On a bike. What the hell is that?
Wow.
Sean N is not a good person.
That's
stands for,
wow, that's terrible. That
stands
Also,
for Sean. Sean, not a good person.
Also, this movie came out, many years before his unfortunate passing.
long before that.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna show Sean N how a true consummate professional mentions Jonathan Brandis in their movie without being an absolute fucking dick about it. My last review comes from Mark D, and I can only assume that's Mark DeCostas, international, martial arts sensation. And he writes, the best thing you can say about this flick is, oh, look, it's that kid from Sidekicks, or, oh, look, it's Evil Lynn. The action is much more plentiful in this than in the first one, but it's still a very, very below average flick. 2 out of stars.
Okay, and Galen, send us home.
Lady J gives it 5 out of stars and says, tonight, Daddy's coming home to slice up more than just the cake.
Ah, Lady J.
Yeah, bringing it home like I knew she would.
Classic Lady J.
Yep.
Well, there you go, folks. Those are the reviews for Stepfather 2. That's what the people are saying. You know what we're saying. But now we're going to talk about something that we genuinely enjoy. It's a dance sensation that's sweeping the nation. It's the What You Watching, Bud.
What you watching, bud? I don't know. What you watching, bud? I'll tell you so. Do.
Thank you for that live performance.
Yeah.
It's like when Steve performs the what word? Don't take our word for it bit.
Like literally almost all our theme songs.
Yeah.
So Galen, we'll start with you as our guest. But just gonna ask you, what you watching, bud?
Well, I have watched recently the horror movie that's the horror movie sensation that's sweeping the nation, Barbarian. Ooh. And quite I will say though it does get overly ridiculous in parts, and without giving away the all of the twists and the turns, but it definitely goes in directions you will not anticipate. There's some stellar performances, I am definitely the kind of the ideal audience for these kinds of movies, because I cannot stay silent during a high tension movie like this, to the point that my friend and I definitely got shushed towards the end of this. About every 5 minutes we were just like, no, stop, no, why are you doing that? Why stop? And then finally there was just someone who turned to us and said, we don't need the commentary. and
it's going to be read when they get the DVD and you're on the audio commentary.
Actually, I did get a little. I was vindicated because I tweeted about my experience, and the producer of the film tweeted back and said, "You should have shushed them back." That's hearing everyone's reactions is what makes the film fun.
Huh, that's funny.
So yeah,
vindication.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. But yeah, absolutely go see Barbarian.
All right. I actually recommended that a couple episodes ago. I also really like that movie.
So it's a whole lot of fun. Yeah. Again, not 5 out of stars, but
Ooh.
yeah, it's a good night at the movies
Well,
or
so
afternoon.
For me, it was a 4.5. It was pretty freaking close.
Yeah.
But Nathan, what about you? What you watching, bud?
Well, this past week I started watching an animated show on Crave. There's about 3 seasons, so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna get on board with this. Star Trek's Lower Decks.
Oh yeah.
My friend Ben, he's a big Trekker, and he's been watching it, and he was telling me about it, and he said, "You man, you'd really love it because it's got a lot of stuff that pays, homage. There's all kinds of Easter eggs and stuff to like the more serious original series and Star Trek Next Generation and Voyager and all that. But it's got an Adult Swim sensibility to it. So like you think like Rick and Morty or something to like that, Futurama even. I'm having a great time with it so far. So yeah.
And I think
Lower
is
Decks.
that the one that Paul Scheer is on?
He is one of the voices. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, I also, much like Galen, I'm also going to recommend a fairly new movie in theaters now.
Yes.
Maybe at the time of the release of this episode, I'm not sure, but I hope it's still in theaters. But I watched the prequel to X called Pearl. Pearl is fantastic. If anyone's seen X and loved it, then you will love Pearl. It is basically the villainous character from X, but this all takes place like years and years before. It's like kind of how she came up through the world, and it's disturbing, and it's a bit of a slow burn. It's not like super slow, but it's very interesting. It takes place in like a it takes place in like a World War I-ish era. Mia Goth gives maybe one of the best performances of the year. I think it's probably going to happen again. Same thing that happened to Toni Collette with Hereditary, and the same thing that happened with Lupita Nyong'o for Us is that she'll probably not even get nominated, and it'll be a big shame at the Oscars. But she's really good, and the movie's intense, and it builds well, and it has maybe one of the most uncomfortable ending credit sequences I have ever seen on film.
Whoa.
And it's very graphic. It's very graphic at times.
Yeah, the trailer definitely suggested that. Yeah, haven't seen the first yet. So
you should see X as well. It's very good.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've been watching. But Nathan, do you have a friend that wants to come by and show for a bit?
Yeah, sure. One second. Hello, it's your good friend Montrose Merkington III here, and I would just like to, as Brendan said, shill for my YouTube channel, Montrose Merkington TV. You can also be friends with me on the Facebook group, Montrose Merkington III Esquire and Friends. And finally, if you'd wish to tweet at me on your Twitter devices, you certainly can do that at Montrose III. That's the number 3 RD. Thank you. More later. Yeah.
Thank you, Montrose.
You're welcome.
Galen, thank you once again for your I think conservatively 27th appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, give or take. No one's counting. Yeah.
Well, I certainly am.
It's clearly 27.
Actually, he probably is. He's probably got a spreadsheet somewhere.
I have a lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that your evaluation is coming up soon, Galen. So just
oh boy. All right. Yeah. Well, yeah. After this one, I'll be a little nervous, but yes, be kind.
Thank you very much for not only appearing once again, but bestowing us with a beautiful cinematic achievement in Stepfather 2.
Absolutely. You're welcome. This is, I've given you some real headaches in the past, and I think this one is just, it goes down real smooth. So you're welcome.
Yeah, it's certainly no Veronica.
Oof.
Yes. Thankfully, little is.
But as we wrap up, Galen, I actually want to ask you as well. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I'm in a lovely retro style music video for a Canadian band, Marker Starling, it's the track is called Diamond Violence, and you can find that on the YouTubes, and it's about 5 minutes of retro styles and a lot of bling jewelry and some and a real smooth tune. So check that out.
Great. Well,
And that's it. Otherwise, I'm just sitting at home screaming at myself. So you can, if you want to walk by my apartment and just hear me screaming at myself, you can do that.
and you're just gonna put. I'll just put the address in the show notes.
Please do. That would be helpful.
Okay, awesome. And of course, if you want to listen to this show anywhere else, you can find us on all podcast platforms. Our home base, though, is Age of Radio.
Big time.
You can go to ageofradio.org/whatwerethéthinking. Find us on patreon.com/WWTT podcast. We're on Redbubble, TeePublic. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWTT podcast. Search for us on Facebook. We have a page. We have a group page. Join that if you'd like. Talk at us. Tell us how you don't agree with our evaluation of this movie as some kind of unheralded classic. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So I guess at this point, as is tradition, I just ask Nathan, do you have any questions about Stepfather 2? Make room for Daddy.
Well, okay, so with a movie that essentially cribs from the original one almost beat for beat, in a movie where it's so easy to steal someone's identity, you just have to say, "Hi, I'm Gene," and now you're Gene.
Right.
And in a movie where postal workers are rifling through your mail in flagrant disregard for federal laws, that's a felony, by the way. And in a movie where you set up a perfectly excellent kill line to be used by a young savior hero in Jonathan Brandis, and he doesn't get to quote unquote hit it like he means it. I gotta say, what were they thinking?
He slams the door, he stomps his feet, sends me to bed with zilch to eat. But my stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting. His temper's bad and he's a slob, he's bitter 'cause he lost his job. But my stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting. So 3 cheers for the man that I proudly call Stan. He's not quite a dad or a brother. Yes, he gets cross, but still, he's the boss. And besides, he takes care of my mother. So be patient with new friends like Stan. It's tough to be mom's second man. But your stepdad's not mean, he's just adjusting. So remember, kids, a stepdad is a lot like a new puppy. They need patience and love while they adjust to their new surroundings. But remember, if he is ever abusive to you or mommy, what are the magic numbers? 911! That's right!